Hello, everyone. I'm Charnay with SESS RAY, and I'm so excited about this conversation that we're going to have. I do also have my co-founders and business partners. So I'm so excited about this conversation because so often we get questions around what is SESS RAY? What does that even mean? So, Sharina, I'll let you take this one. What does SESS RAY mean?
So SESS RAY stands for all of our names, obviously S's, and then E is a way for us to include everyone, but also have it where we are keeping in mind our why behind what we do and everything, that we make sure that it's not just ourselves, but it's really about connecting to the community. And Ray is the name of our father, so that's another way of adding in our legacy. And so when you combine it all together, that brings together the company of SESS RAY.
Love that. I think it's so important, speaking of Mr. Ray, so he certainly has had an impact in our lives, both of our parents did. How would you say our upbringing influenced our viewpoint in the fashion world and in the fashion space?
So I would say that, for us, it was really about watching our parents. They were so inspirational and influential for us growing up in church and also having their own sense of style. And we're from New York. And watching our mom would actually make our clothes because we were very, very small and petite compared to other children. And so she would make all of our clothes, and she was self-taught with pattern making and just everything related to designing our items. Sometimes we would wear the same clothes, but it was really important for her to make sure we looked good and felt good. And also our dad was very stylish as well.
It's very true. I definitely agree. When I think about mom and dad, they carried a refinement and many times of their clothing, and they carried that and really instilled that into us to care about how we present ourselves. Because even for myself, what I think about oftentimes is that sometimes before someone ever reads your resume, sees a business card, the way that you dress and more importantly present yourselves, even beyond the clothes, says so much about the person behind those clothes. And so with that being said, I think it's so key for us to talk about why did we start this company in the first place? What inspired us? And so Shonika, I know you have such a special story.
Well, it depends on how far we have to go back.
Right. Yeah. How about that?
How much time do you have? But I would say that this started where we actually was in DC area, and just so you know, we're really faith-based designers, so God is very important to our lives. And so he was actually showing me how certain styles he wanted me to focus on and saying, like, there's things I put inside of you, but I really didn't understand the full magnitude at that time. And it wasn't until I took a business trip to Singapore, yes, it was a business trip, for work. And while I was there, I actually thought that dream had died. I really wasn't focused on anything, doing my best, living my best life, actually traveling all over the world. And I actually had a piece made there by a local tailor. And so while I was getting everything done, I was like, okay, should I really spend this money? Because this was the most expensive piece I've ever used or bought. And I was like, maybe I'm not making right the decision. So I called my sister. So mind you, we're in 3 different time zones. I'm in Singapore. My sister at the time, Charnay, was in France, and Sharina was in Houston. So I'm like, I need you all to be here for a sanity check.
Take me off the ledge.
And I was like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right. And I heard the Holy Spirit say so clearly, he was like, this is going to be a faith seed. And this is the reason why I want you to do this, because your dream has not died. And so I would say this for anyone. Sometimes it feels like, it's taking so long for something to come into fruition. But really, if there is something that is that dream, that purpose, that desire in your heart, because you were made for a reason and put on this earth for a reason, it will come to pass. Even though it may be delayed or it may feel like you're not able to accomplish it, it is possible. And so from that time frame, I realized like this really was my faith seed, and it was a beautiful pink jacket, bubblegum pink with bows on the inside, and I even had my name inscribed on the inside, and I named it SESS, just again to attach my faith to it. Like, if this is going to happen, however it comes about, this is what I will always be able to look back at in my closet to say, okay, remember, Sharnika, you have to do this, you and your sisters. And that's the story behind how it all began.
And I think it's beautiful that you also mentioned going to the tailor, because obviously that was a part of our upbringing, with our mother making our items for ourselves, and then our father, dressing the way that he did, but also loving, movies
Yes.
as much as he did. So even with that, we never realized how much of our world was actually already beginning to kind of filter us towards that direction to begin with, because of all of he would watch everything from Western to, classicals to musicals, James Bond, like everything.
Yes.
And so with that, you look at clothes, and sometimes you don't understand how it can actually be ingrained within you.
Yeah.
But at that time, you understood what you wanted it to actually look like when you were at the actual atelier, and then be able to design it effectively for you, taking something that was unexpected, something that wasn't common at the time, at least that we were aware of.
So was that essentially the time that you basically became a designer?
No.
No. When did you? No. I mean, no. But what I'm saying is,
always a designer.
well, what I'm saying is, we've always been stylish. So when do you feel like it changed corners? When do you feel like you personally turned a corner where you went from just being someone who's stylish to someone who's a visionary, to someone who actually takes inspiration and brings it into fruition?
So from that time of about 10 plus years, we started working on our collection. When we all came together after being set apart for some time, we had to reestablish what is it that we want to do, especially while we were still single. Wasn't married yet, and this was a beautiful thing to connect us. And so we started working with several different vendors, different factories, and we started out with muslin and just went on to different variations of trying to create our pieces. But one of the things we started noticing is that something was missing, whether it was the way they were making the items, the fabric, or what have you. So we started running into several different obstacles for us. Some people, they don't have these challenges, just because for us, our background is more in the corporate space. So going into fashion, we needed a little bit of a learning curve to get up to speed with some of the newest trends around the fashion industry. And so while we were actually going through this exercise, we went through actually like 7 factories to get to where we felt we were ready. And even though some people felt like, oh no, this is good enough, you could come out with that, we were like, no, it's still not to the extent that we feel that it's the right time, that it's worthy of actually coming forth. But also, we care about the people we're making clothes for. So we really wanted to make sure if we're going to do something, it had to match our brand, it had to match what we believe is excellence and really having a high quality. And like I said, it took 7 factories to get there, but that's how we came out with the leather, because it accomplished a goal that now we have finally found our place called there.
I think for me, it was probably when, after we had sketched something and actually saw it materialize, was the first time that I really felt that I could call myself a designer. After we had our first malfunction
Prototype.
a prototype that has been a part of our SESS RAY museum, as because we
SESS RAY Museum.
Oh, we will be talking about that.
When we had that, but then that was when it was the journey of becoming. But then when we actually had something that we could feel was worthy enough to put our name behind, that's when I could say I am a fashion designer.
I love that. One of the things that I love about what we have done throughout our process has been keeping chronicles of our journey. It has been bumpy at times.
Business chronicles and sister chronicles.
How about that? How about that? Both of them. But yes, it has been bumpy at times. It's not always been easy. Like you said, Sharnika, we've come from corporate backgrounds. We've come from a totally different industry. And being able to take our skill sets and our strengths, and we've seen them really blossom in this business, but also we've also seen with every single prototype that we went through, the product always got better.
That's
Even if our
very true.
designs changed, sometimes our designs did change, but the product always got better. Every piece became more durable. It became more reliable. We provided more intentionality behind each piece that we make. And that's something that I personally am so grateful that we can say that we've done, and also that inspires me, because we know when we're choosing to design a piece, there's so much intentionality behind every button, behind every button size. Is this something that someone can put on by themselves? Do they need help putting this on? Is it going to require some challenge in the future?
Well?
Will it travel well? Is it going to wrinkle? Is, what are the things that we can do to make someone's life easier even with these clothes? So I think it's important. I think this is a great time for us to talk about the reliability and also what we want people to feel when they actually wear our pieces.
But let's go back just a minute,
Okay,
because
okay.
though you say you are grateful, it's also grateful now, because during the process
Very
there was
true.
a lot of
Oh,
resistance
man.
because of just at the time I couldn't explain it, but I just knew that we weren't there yet concerning.
yes.
I was like, this has to be it. We must be there. This should be
And I
good
was like,
enough.
no,
This
it's not
is
good
great.
enough.
We've done
Like,
better than we've ever done.
But why? It should be. Like, no. We
Yeah.
can go a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We can go a little bit better. And like you said, to create things now that are reliable and durable and long lasting wasn't something that was a concept, obviously, of us before. So I think now, like you said, when we think about what we want people to actually feel, it is completely different.
And one of the things I wanted to emphasize is that there are some things that we don't always have to agree on.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
you
We
know,
don't.
sometimes it's a 2 out of 3, and we keep moving.
And that's it. Majority
but,
rules.
But it was really important to us as far as getting it right the first time, that if we were not all in agreement, we would not move forward. And so sometimes people ask us, like, how do you work so well together? That was very important to us, because even the Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree? And so agreement, the power of agreement, especially for big decisions, was extremely important to us.
Imperative.
Exactly. And so having that part of it, what really helped us avoid some pitfalls and learn the appropriate lessons we needed to learn to be successful. Going back to the reliability and what we want people to feel with our clothes, we want people to exhale. I think sometimes people don't know if they could trust the clothes that are being made for them, or the brand, or the quality of it. And if anything, I would say I would want people to feel like, finally. You know, all is not lost with wanting something made well. And we understand, we don't want you to just wear a SESS RAY piece just by itself. Wear it with the things that you also love. We know that you may wear it with jeans, and it may be a different brand. And I think we also have to understand that is okay. Even me right now, having on a SESS RAY jacket, that's not out yet, by the way, but it's a SESS RAY jacket for women. But I also have it with other things that I love. These are my favorite jeans from Armani Exchange. I love these jeans. They're boyfriend's jeans. I mean, I don't care how many tears, what it looks like. I was like, it's vintage. So all of that to say is that sometimes I think we allow people to have us where we can't be everything we want to be because of what trends say. But it's also important for you to be comfortable with you. And if there is your favorite jacket that's a SESS RAY jacket, and you want to put it on with something that is from another store and all those other things, please be you. Be free.
But I also think that it's not really practical for some people. Actually do it, but it's not really practical to just have sort of one style, one brand, one thing, because you don't even eat just one piece of food.
No.
You have to mix it, obviously, with
Variety
something.
is
Absolutely,
important.
variety.
You know, even though, yes, I'm like, I eat oatmeal every day. Yes, but there's still a type
That's
of oatmeal.
good.
There's still different things connected with it that makes it an oatmeal or meal. You don't just eat an apple all day long and that's just all you eat. And that's so why would your clothes
That's
be the
good.
same way? And so I think sometimes we forget that, and we're just so used to probably the industry itself dictating or saying, no, you have to be loyal to this brand, you have to be loyal to that brand. Well, you know, again, you don't have just one type of furniture in your house. You don't have just one type of, you know, aesthetic. So sometimes it's always blended, and it's the blend that makes it even more wonderful. And I think you hit it on the head as far as wanting people to exhale
Yeah.
when they wear our items, of understanding that, again, they're seen, they're heard, that this isn't something that they have to just toss away 2 months later,
Yeah.
but really something that was made well, made with craftsmanship. Yes, it took time to actually do, but the end result was worth the wait. But what do you want people to feel?
I was going to say, something that I also want people to feel is that they can live in our clothes. Our clothes are certainly high end, but they're also not just practical, but they're comfortable. And so I have my favorite pair of slippers. I have my favorite, I have my favorite, like you said, pair of jeans, or that favorite piece. And it's so wonderful to know that you have something that you can rely on, that if you never do anything else, this is like a warm hug, that I can grab it every day. Having even some of the sweatpants, it's just so comfortable that you can wear it to the airport, you can wear it to a soccer game, you can wear it to brunch and still look amazing, but still being comfortable. So again, I certainly, like you said, want people to feel comfortable in their own skin, but also to know that they can add their own spice to what we've designed. Yes, we may be the designers, but again, add your own spin to it, add your own flavor of who you are, because really that authenticity and that essence of who you are, it shines through, and it just makes the clothes look even better. Earlier we were talking about just some of the challenges. How would you describe some of the challenges that we faced?
It's like,
just to even ask this question, I'm like, I can't even ask it without taking a deep breath. I was gonna say, I'm like, whew.
grab the tissues.
How would you describe some of the challenges we faced, and more importantly, how did we overcome? How would you say we overcame?
I think for me, if we did not do this together, I don't know if
100%.
we would be out today.
100%.
Though we enjoy fashion and enjoy it, but just the process, the ability to lean on each other at times, like, and going back to also something that you kind of mentioned before, of each one of us having different talents and different capabilities, that it has allowed us to obviously be able to branch off in a broader way that most entrepreneurs wouldn't be able to do, because they're by themselves. But it was also able to pull on another person's strength in time of weakness. And so yes, you would naturally have that with your sisterhood, but it's something that got enhanced as we were actually going into business together. And I think we were able to learn even more about each other through the business. And so if I was the one that was a hothead that day, the two others were able to be calm and help to regulate, versus it just kind of being on yourself with the pressure. And so I think by obviously prayer and fasting and just other things, or like going back to our faith, that we were able to obviously capitalize on, but also being able to lean on the other person. If you're great at communications, I don't have to worry about what is being said. That's on you. If Shonika is great with the fabric, I don't have to be at every single meeting. I can now go and do this other portion, maybe with the website. So it allowed us to be able to overcome some things, I think, by being able to have another pillar to lean on, because we couldn't talk about it to our family.
No, it's true. Very, very true.
Or friends.
Yeah, I would say there's a few things. So number one, we went through different seasons, and I really believe that we had to also grow into what we had to actually oversee. And I think sometimes we think we're ready for big moments and big opportunities, but there's a preparation and there's a process that you have to go through to get there. And sometimes we miss, or we want to skip that part, and therefore sometimes you can't sustain it because you really didn't learn some of the lessons you needed to learn. There's a few things that really helped us. I think it was having the right mentorship at the time that we needed. We actually had to grow up into certain levels in order to have the right mentors, to have the right connections. Some people were public, some people were private, that really helped us in times of need, to encourage us, to guide us, to also speak truth to us when we needed it. Also, being in the season of the pandemic, it helped out a lot because we had to reset. We had to reset, what are we doing and why are we doing it, so that we could really be strong enough to weather certain storms and also make sure we have the right impact. sometimes you can go into things thinking that you are secure in certain moments. And we heard a lot of people tell us, oh, why are you doing that?
Yes.
Oh, why are you in a luxury space? Oh, you can make, T-shirts and sweatpants.
Just come out with it. It's
just
fine.
come out with it. It's fine. And we're like, no, it's not where it needs to be. So you really had to believe in yourself. And that was one of the things that was really important, to believe in our God and to also believe in each other, that what we're doing really has purpose. And the third thing I would say is that even just building ourselves up with resources, to know what were the right resources, what were the right companies, what to avoid, who to work with, who not to work with, or how to pivot. Pivoting was really, really important for us, because we had different groups that we worked with. Some of them were peers, and we would get together and they're like, oh, SESS RAY, what's going on with you today?
Well, listen, here's the next story.
SESS RAY always has a story.
SESS RAY
This
always has a story.
That's it.
We're like, we're still coming.
That's it.
But and after a while it became a running joke, but
That's
to
true.
see that we've made it to this point is also a very big testimony that if you continue to fight and believe in what you desire, then it will come to pass. It will show itself. So I really believe that this was important, to do research and development, for us to research ourselves. It just wasn't about, working on the products and making sure it's right. There was also some things that God was working on us spiritually to say, are you right with this? There's some things, there's some keys you need to get, and you're not ready for them, because I need you to get to a certain level. And so as we kept growing and being part of the right, like I said, foundation, and even uprooting things that we did not need to take with us, it really helped us become even more diligent and resolute in how we are building SESS RAY.
And I think that was good that you mentioned, because though we had different seasons that we went through, we also had to relearn each other now in the new season. Who we were before wasn't who we were, in the recent one. And how do you then obviously move the business forward with now navigating all these different components? Because again, we were in different places, but yet we were evolving together. So I think that even helped with expanding to even more products, but of understanding how that still builds, but still remembering the why behind what we do and why we do it.
And I would say, while we were building the business, God was also building us.
100%.
So I think it was a partnership, and it was a marriage taking place for us to really be able to walk out the direction and the confidence with His purpose for our lives.
I agree with that. Not only did we have to be built up, our mental, our mindset had to change. Our belief system had to change. Our standards had to be raised. And going back to your point, the character had to be built. And so we had to learn more resilience. We had to learn to be really wise and very thoughtful about every decision, every partner we work with, because we started to realize, if you don't do the vetting process on the front end, you potentially have the opportunity to put yourself in a situation on the back end. And so one of the things that helps me is that when we're making certain decisions, we're not just advocating for ourselves, we're also advocating for our clients and the customers that we serve. And like you said, being able to show up well, but also, again, finding partners and vendors that align with our value system. We thought that at some point in time, like, it may not be that big a deal, like, okay, we're a little different, but they're the best, or they seem to be really great, I love what they've shared. But then we started to realize, this does not work with us. We don't even have peace working with some of these individuals, because the value system is different. And so, like you said, I believe that was so key. But also, that's, in my mind, that's where the milestones and the Book of Remembrance, whatever that book is, Book of Remembrance helped, because we can go back to some of those lessons. And even if one person doesn't remember, two people are like, I remember this has come up before, and this was we've been through this. We are not going to fail this test today. No, we are going to pass this test. That's it. And so being able to advocate, like you said, and to really be clear on what do we stand for, why are we doing it, and also I believe that having the backing of God, knowing that God is in this, has made a huge difference. Doesn't still mean that it didn't get tough at different moments, but knowing that He supports us with this process has been so key. What would you say is the biggest surprise that you've had either with this company or even being in this industry now?
I would say it's a lot tougher than we thought it was going to be. It is not rainbows and sprinkles at all, and really only the strong endure. It looks very glamorous when you look at fashion shows and so many different things. I have a totally new appreciation and respect for designers, for what they've built, for how they have to come up with their creativity, with how they have to manage so many different nuances. We learned that it was more about business than it is about fashion, which we're grateful for because we know a lot about business. But there was still a lot of surprises that we weren't prepared for. When we were working with certain people, we thought like, oh, you're the expert, or this is what you recommend. Okay, great. And we realized because of what we had our own superpower, which is the Holy Spirit. We actually knew more than they did. And I really can't explain it, but all I can say is that there were certain moments where, I'll just give you an example. So there was a time where we were in the house and I heard the Holy Spirit say very clearly, "There's a piece missing." I'm like, what piece? We have everything.
Yeah, we got our
we got our shipment.
the whole shipment.
We went through the list. We're good. No, there's something missing. Then I see a picture. He shows a picture in my mind. You're missing the brown pants, sir. We're not missing anything. So I go and look for the brown pants. I don't see the brown pants. I'm like, oh no, where's the brown pants? And I reach out to my sisters to say, oh my goodness, this piece is missing. I said, oh my goodness, I have to call the person who actually was helping us, who were making a particular piece, to see if they left it or forgot to ship it.
Did we even ship it?
Or did they, right, what happened? Come to find out, this piece was with one of their members on their team, and we would not have ever found out about that for months. That was something very tangible, that was supernatural, that there's no way
surprising moment.
you could know this. And that's when I
anything,
started realizing, oh, God cares about fashion. God actually cares about this business. He's not just like, oh no, I'm here on taking care of everything. He actually wants to partner. And watching that partnership grow, because we were actually more diligent with our walk with God and our faith, that we were able to avoid very significant pitfalls that other people have not been able to overcome. And so having that avenue for us has been very, very important, but it was a big surprise. It was a big surprise to also see that how we see clothes, how we feel them, certain things that we were able to identify, other people did not identify with it. And it just wasn't just in fashion space, but even if there was something with operations, with accounting, or working with different partners in that space. It's not to say that the experts weren't good. They just weren't good for us.
That's it.
And so there was things that there's no other way we would have learned some of these things if it wasn't going through
those hurdles.
Some of those hurdles.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I want people to understand, because I think sometimes we think people are, oh my gosh, you just told me not to go buy that lipstick. Okay, I won't. It might have been a moment for that person. And then there's sometimes where you really do need to pivot. And so, and all of these examples we're given, people do great work. It just wasn't part of what we needed to have in our wheelhouse as we were growing our business.
And I think having the right people around you also mattered. I know you mentioned this a little bit with mentors, but sometimes what also surprised me was the additional individuals that came on to really help us, the people who wouldn't just tell you what you wanted to hear, the ones who would shake you and wake you up to say, no, you need to pivot, and you need to pivot right now, versus, oh, I just need to give them another chance. It's probably me. It's, there's so many things that obviously you have to work through that help you with your business, but it's also where there's a lot of things that we would not have probably been able to navigate through faster if we did not have the right community, the right people around us who, yes, some were mentors, but some were just people that we could just watch and learn from and glean from.
What I believe also surprises me is how much we have such a key perspective on the fashion industry, and specifically with our clothes. When I look at our clothes, and I'm not saying this because I work for and co-founded SESS RAY. I'm saying this because even if I was a consumer looking at our brand, we have a very unique perspective as far as the designs that we have created. And that's something, like you said, Sharina, that's so beautiful that we can all be proud of. And that certainly surprised me, but it's, again, just that reminder that it's worth the wait. Sometimes we're so busy with fast fashion, fast food, exactly, you know, fast relationships,
fast technology,
all these things. And don't get me wrong, we all love to snap a finger and have something available to us, but there is something to be said that many things that are slowly built, or many things that take longer to build, it's actually because it's better. It's better quality, it's more customized to you. And one of the things that we certainly care about, even with SESS RAY, our pieces are intended to be heirloom pieces. They are intended to be passed down. And so I think it's important for us to share a story about even some of the things that were passed to us that we still have today, things that were given to us from other family members. So I think of a jacket that used to belong to Mom, and it was tweed. It was, I guess, more of like a bolero, because it hit around a little bit higher than the waist, and a very simple collar, small collared jacket. And I remember it belonged to our mom, then it belonged to Shonika, and it passed down to Sharina, and then to me, and it was just an amazing journey to know that this piece of clothing had been in our family for over 20 years. It held up. The quality was still very, very good. And more than it just being able to last that long, I think it's the memory of knowing that this jacket was worn by my mom on perhaps her most important days of her life. And now I get to wear it, and this is what it means to me. So kind of similar to the sisterhood of the traveling pants. but it's just that concept that this one piece has a story, and it relates to each of us in different ways, but yet it was relevant to all of us at the most important time.
Right, because it's a way of connecting you to whoever wore before in their time, their life, so you stay connected as a family.
That's it.
I think you were just talking the other day about actually our mom, how she has something from our grandmother.
Oh, how about that?
How it's this beautiful green, vibrant Kelly green coat,
oh my goodness.
With this fur around the collar, and how our grandmother used to wear it, and now our mother just wore it for a milestone birthday, where it's still just as vibrant, it's still just as well made, it's still just as beautiful as it was before. And that still goes back to the craftsmanship, the quality, the respect, and the artistry behind what people were actually building. And we didn't come from a wealthy family.
No, we did not.
We had to understand how to be satisfied, like you said, with different waves, whether that was a vintage shop consignment, something that would be considered a hand-me-down, whether that was from an older sibling or even from another family member. And I think if we didn't have that journey, some things we may not have appreciated as much, to understand why we want to now create things that are lasting. Because if everyone is into the fast fade, the fast trends, the fast this, the fast that, then it's also so wasteful. When, some people eat leftovers. That's okay. Sometimes it's built to last. You just may have to reinvent it. Sometimes it's cutting it. Sometimes and nowadays we see how even bridal wear is having where brides can actually revamp their dresses, whether that is taking certain things in and off, adding something here and there to help it also be reinvented. And I think because of that, some of the creativity has actually been lost, because people can just snap, I can just go to, this store and just get something quick if it's, dies, and just toss it away, versus no, how do you actually reinvent the wheel? And I think because of us not necessarily having small beginnings, that it allowed us to actually use our imagination to create this beautiful piece of art that we would wear, going out to wherever we were going to.
Well, what I'm also hearing from you is having the space to be creative. So often today we want to fill that space with more media, entertainment. We fill that space with being busy. We fill that space that we could have used to be inspired. And so sometimes when you have that time of quiet or that time of needing to be resourceful just because you just don't have it, whatever that is, that you start to realize, okay, let me think differently. And really believe it ignites a certain part of your brain that allows you to think more creatively and to see things in possibilities versus impossibilities.
It's true, because you're no longer following the crowd. You're creating your own lane.
Absolutely. How would you describe your personal style? Totally different direction. But how would you describe your personal style?
For me, and I know it's obviously for all of us, that we're very moody dressers. It depends on the style. For me, with my background of loving movies and film, wanting to possibly go into that to me, I always saw fashion as the world being my runway. So if the world's my runway, I'm going to make it a good show. And I probably would be that wild makeup person, going out there if I really wanted to. So sometimes it could be minimalist. Sometimes it could be maximalist. Sometimes it's, the edgy and rocker. So I think it really just depends. And one thing that the more I began to learn about different styles, it helped me sort of navigate the different waves that I could actually go through with getting older. Sometimes when I was younger, I was much more loud and maximalist, still kind of am. But, again, would be that theater kid going down the street, walking around. But then as I got older, it kind of got more refined. So I think as I began to get...
So this is not loud?
Not today, because I don't have other things all the way through.
She's like, I'm actually toned down, thank you.
I'm toned down, thank you. So it began to understand that my personality can shine and be enough, and I'm enough to where I don't have to always have the bold print, plus another bold print, plus another bold print, plus wild hair and this, that, and the other. So I think that helped. And obviously when I learned about the sartorialist, that helped me understand, okay, so I can do this. This is good, but also this is how I can refine it. This is how I can possibly try other trends, but more importantly, not stick with them.
I think it's really important to know who you are before you even think about what is a style or your style. I think it changes based upon the times, the climate, or what have you. More than anything, I think it's important for you to feel good about you. And as long as you feel good on the inside, you could put on a simple t-shirt, this jacket, or any kind of jacket you want, and have on some really cool sneakers and just be you. I think sometimes we emphasize so much on what the outer appearance needs to look like, but not allowing it to complement what's already on the inside. And I think sometimes we're oversaturating what we need to build to actually get the praises versus knowing that you're already worthy without trying. And sometimes I feel like sometimes people are trying too hard for what they want to do versus just going out there and being yourself. I would say for me, a lot of things are timeless, and also global. It doesn't matter where I travel, that people notice what I'm wearing or what's happening. And so I think as long as you have whatever aesthetic that makes sense for you, then that's all that matters.
Yes, your DNA. How would you describe your style?
Oh, goodness. So as far as my style, I would say that in many ways it's been classic with a twist, and that twist would either be through color or pattern, but some of that was also based on my previous work. So being in the corporate workspace, wanting to be fashionable, or being fashionable I should say, but wanting to still look and be taken seriously, especially within corporate. Some of it was a little bit more on the classic side. I've gone through other phases, though. I've gone through the phase of being more bohemian. I've certainly gone through the phase of having a more feminine sense of style. So it does evolve, and like you said, Shronika, it is something that does change sometimes from day to day. But also, I think also some of it has to do, like you said, with how you feel and even where you are in life. I'm at a phase in life where things are different than they once were, even with weight and such. And so the style is also evolving because I realized that for me to show up confidently, yes, it certainly comes from the inside, but the clothes that I need to wear or that make me feel my best may look a little bit different.
And I think you really made a good point, Shronika, in terms of it starts from within. If you don't know who you are and how you want to represent yourself and what you want to again, present to the world, then no matter how much clothes, no matter how much makeup, no matter what else you put on, it's not going to necessarily be that fullness, because you'll always feel a slight tinge that I'm not hitting it. And so that's why even still with our pieces, it was very important to make sure that it was size inclusive, because we've had ways of, like you said, where there were moments when we were, slimmer, and other times where, hey, we're going into this new phase in life. What do we have that can work?
That's it. And like you said, it's embracing all of the phases, because it's all wonderful, but it's just different.
Right, and you shouldn't be penalized for that.
That's it. Your style should not be penalized. You as a person should not be penalized. Like you said, how you show up should not be penalized.
Whether you're male or female, you should not be penalized.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you talked about size inclusivity, because even for us, yes, while we've been smaller, for most of our lives, if not all of our lives, there are certainly other folks that we know who've struggled with size inclusivity on both ends of the spectrum. And so what does that look like? And surprisingly enough, in the luxury space, there are very few designers who are even making clothes that go beyond, I'll speak for women's clothing, that goes beyond a size 10, 12. And so how is someone supposed to embrace that outside of, well, I got a great bag? Well, congratulations, the bag never changes sizes. Congratulations, your shoes don't change sizes. But how do you also get to embrace certain brands that you love when your weight, it almost feels like you're being scrutinized or somehow being put into a different room or a different category. No, we believe that everyone is worthy of great clothes. Everyone is worthy of the opportunity to show up feeling fantastic in whatever clothes that they're wearing, whether it's our brand or someone else's. But it's just to say, when I look at some of those people being excluded from some of those rooms, it breaks my heart.
One of the things I also want to mention is that we talk about, in the beginning, like God made Adam and Eve, and he also made leather clothing for them. That's what the Bible says. That he actually made clothes to fit them. The part that's really deep is we really don't know what was Adam or Eve's size.
How about that?
Whatever was perfect in God's eyes is what he made. And that's also what he made for them. And I think sometimes we are penalizing people. Now, I understand health reasons or certain situations that you can't help. Like, that really doesn't make any sense. We're not even comparing apples to apples. So I really believe that, and I hope even from this video that there's a shift that happens, that
Absolutely.
People can actually find the things that they want even in the luxury space, because there are people who want to shop. I know there's certain brands who are embracing it a lot more, but we still have a long way to go.
So speaking of a long way to go, let's talk about how we not only have women's clothing, but we've recently just launched our men's collection and our accessories collection. What does that mean to you, Sharina, for us to be able to have a more expanded portfolio of what we can offer?
It finally happened.
That's it.
I'm always, excited about what we have next coming up or what we're doing. And so for me, I think having now men allows us to really bring back in that Ray element, our fatherhood, our brothers, like the people that we know, the men that we know and admire, having something for them, because obviously they've asked, for a while, when are you doing something for us? What
about us?
What about us? That to really have something now that is catered for them to help them understand in a market where a lot of their things are very limited. Whether that's by color, whether that's by size, whether that's by design or style, that to be able to now offer them a variety of things is also very wonderful to have, because now they can say, for my son, this is a jacket that I have that I can pass on to you. Like we talked about, obviously, with our grandmother, being able to pass something down to our mother. How many stories have we heard, really, of men being able to do something like that? It may be a watch, it may be, a briefcase or something else, but now to have something tangible that they actually wear that said, this was something that I wore when I went to speak at X, Y, and Z. This is something I wore when I took your mom out for the first time, and this is how we met. Like, to be able to have some of those stories stories as well, that to kind of integrate it is highly impactful, I think, for me at least, with now having men.
Yeah, like you said, the men are saying finally, like you thought about us. And I would say, you know, when I think about men, it's very different than women because, of course, we're women. But to actually see that men are excited and are saying thank you for thinking about them and making pieces that really resonates with them. And I, you know, when I think about all of the changes that we've gone through to get to this place where there is the right time to do things. I don't think we could have done this any sooner for the men before, because it would have been overcrowded or would have had a different feeling. But to know we have this moment of just seeing it come to life and to embrace it and to really sit in it has been beautiful, because sometimes you could do so much and you can have so many wonderful products or whatever you're doing that you could kind of lose sight of valuing this moment. I think we're so busy rushed to the next. So to really see that men are like, wow, this is made really well. I like the way this feels. It feels heavy. The jacket actually feels heavy
And durable.
And its quality.
It's
and
tough.
That's it. It's tough. That's the word they like to use. It's tough. It's tough. And so just seeing that men are like, wow, this is great. So thank you.
Something that was impactful to me was when we finally showed Dad one of our pieces, or all of our pieces, but specifically seeing him try on the Dominic jacket for the first time. The first thing he said, I mean, he immediately said, okay, he's got his hands in his pockets. Because he said, wait a minute, this is taking me back to New York.
This is New York subway.
This is New York subway. I mean, it took him back to a time when he was probably in his 20s, if not 30s. And watching that reaction for me, or really probably for all of us, it was just so fulfilling to know that, yes, we know we're designing for all men and certainly the SESS RAY man, but to see the Ray behind SESS RAY embrace this. I mean, he was so surprised. He provided us with his stamp of approval, but also to see that it took him back to another time. Again, we're creating timeless pieces, heirloom-worthy pieces. He saw the artistry. He was amazed by every pocket in that jacket. He was amazed by just the process that we took, and I know he was so proud, and still is, of course, you know, for what we designed. But that for me was such a special moment, because of course our first collection being women, he's like, oh girls, you did a great job, this is beautiful, I love what you've done, this is amazing. But really watching him embrace that jacket, I was like, wow, we've really got something, and this is going to be super impactful to other men as well.
It's true. And even having, you know, others that we know, whether that's nephews or cousins.
Oh my gosh, and that's true.
Because it's all different age groups
100%.
who are looking at this and saying, no, I would buy this jacket. This is a wonderful jacket. I want this jacket, or I want this piece. To see that it's not just, again, one spectrum.
It's not age related.
It's not age related. And so it's basically not one note, which is also helpful and beautiful to see.
And I was going to say that's a beautiful key, because sometimes you don't know if it's going to hit a particular group, or a particular age, or what have you, and to see that it was different variations from 22 all the way up to those in their 70s, all having the same response. That's something very precious and rare that we also have to take in and realize that that's something special that we are able to produce, because that's not something people are able to easily gravitate and show up that way to where, oh my gosh, I like it. No, I want it and I love it. So we're very grateful.
Yes, 100%. A couple of other things that I want to touch on. What is your favorite part about working together?
That I get to work with my best friends, first and foremost. I think that's one of my favorite things about it, that I still get to learn from each one of you to be better and to get better. Not gonna cry.
I know.
Not gonna do it.
I felt it too.
Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. You know, but we learn so much from each other, and we're each other accountability partner in life and even in business. And so to see how, by God's grace, it hasn't faltered from our personal life to our professional life, and that we still want to be around each other in our personal lives,
How about that?
is a beautiful thing that we don't and shouldn't take for granted, which we don't take for granted every day. But I think one of the best parts is truly just being able to be on this journey with the two of you. And like I said, learn as much as I can, but know that we're in this together. And this is something that we will be able to say that no matter where our paths obviously take us, that we were able to do this together.
Yeah, I would say it's been really amazing to see how we blossom. I would have never thought we would have everything that was necessary for our business the way it has come into fruition. Don't you dare.
I'm like,
Don't you dare do it.
That's it.
We're not going to cry.
I'm not the crier.
Oh.
I'm telling myself that.
She's
I am the crier.
I was
I'm
like,
not crying today.
I was like,
Okay?
she's like,
Not today.
I said, she is really
I was like,
working. I was like, she's
wow.
working through some serious things right now.
I was like, oh, she's really a professional.
Suck it
today.
up.
Get that tea back in there.
Suck it in.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. But just watching everyone blossom and to
Yeah.
see that the gifts came out at the time that they needed to. Like there was so much that was uncovered with even each other that I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you knew how to do this. Oh my goodness, Sharina, I didn't, you know. So
Yeah.
watching you and Sharnae, like I've just been amazed as far as seeing, wow, all of this was built inside of us, and we would have never known.
No.
Absolutely.
Because it wasn't able to be brought out in our corporate spaces. Though we were successful in our corporate spaces, the extent to which it was or has been brought out was limited.
Yeah, what you're saying is it's the environment.
Yeah.
It had to be the right environment for the right soil for things
The
to
right
produce.
cultivation.
Right cultivation, exactly. And so watching that come to fruition and also seeing how we actually are enjoying the journey. I mean, there's been some rough moments where I'm like, I don't know, this is probably not it. This is the last time.
This is the last time. We're
You
not going to make it.
We're not gonna make it. We're just gonna have to tell the family, sit everybody down, and say, you know, we tried.
We had a good run.
We did it. We
That's it. That's it.
But every time we got close to feeling like maybe this is it to give up, something happens that just puts us in the running again, and it's like you do have it, and you keep going, and you had the it factor, and you're built for this, and you're like, wow. And to see how we have become stronger through this has been something to really behold. Like I look at you two, and I'm like, I would have never seen this level of beauty if we were. I know. I'm not. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna cry.
No.
So we would have never seen this level of beauty if we did not go on this journey.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that we did this before the next phase of our lives take place. And it's just beautiful to know that we will always have this as our memorial, as our place of what we built together, and no one can take that from us.
No one.
Like when you
No
really look at what we have overcome, there is no one that can say SESS RAY did not do this. And I really didn't understand what it really meant of creation and creating something. And I know I keep going back to this, but I really admire entrepreneurs and people who are able to make it during the famines, during the rough periods, and just keep going. I mean, there is really something to be said that the majority of small businesses in America are basically those who are entrepreneurs and people who did not give up to make something that was worth the earth having. You know, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, and I know us being siblings is not going to change anything, but it is only allowing us to evolve into the women we are to become.
One of my favorite parts about working with the two of you is trust. Having a trusted resource, a trusted safe space that we grow together. Sometimes there's failures.
Cry together.
and mistakes, but we, and like you said, sometimes cry together, but also we win together.
It's true.
And to have someone who you can talk to about the wins, because the winds mean something. And I probably will cry.
No,
okay?
you won't.
I'm just
Don't.
gonna let it happen. No, but having someone to talk to about the winds, because you get it. You were there for every phone call, every email, every time of late night sketching. You were there for the fittings. You were there for the model and photography moments. You were there for every single step. So I can explain this to my friends, and they're like, "Wow, congratulations, good for you." They don't actually understand. They don't actually know some of the grit and the moments, like you said, when you question yourself, when you're like, "Well, Lord, why me? Why us? Why now?" And yet, because the two of you do, and that even if I'm in a moment of weakness, even if I am having that day that I'm like, you know what, just tap on someone else. It's just not me today. It's just not me. You answer the email. It's just not
I don't want to
today.
deal with it.
No, I don't think so. But yet you all have my back, and we have each other's backs. And again, that level of trust and that level of safe space, and again, being able to win together is really special, I think, for not only me, and I believe that has less to do with our sisterhood and more to do with our unity.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I know. That's it. Oh my goodness. So I really don't have any other questions for you. But if you have any questions for me, I am happy to take them. I have plenty of other things, but we've already talked about so many elements of our journey. And I guess I would just ask you, what do you want people to know about SESS RAY and to remember? What do you want to be remembered for? Either as a person and even as a brand.
We fought to get here. We're not afraid of fights because we understand when you fight, there's always greater victories. And those victories allow you to appreciate why you had to go through certain things to get here. Everybody's not making clothes to do shabby work. I think there's also sometimes certain stigmas about different cultures. Everybody's not that way. There are some brands that are truly worth upholding, that really are a bar set apart, and sometimes it takes a little while to find them, but they are out there, and SESS RAY is one of those.
You just take my answers. Okay. You know, I really think, I mean, you obviously said a lot in it. And I think for me, like you said, it's really knowing that you were seen and heard. I think understanding that, like Shonika mentioned, that we are a brand of integrity, that we're not in it to just do something quick. That's why our pieces take time to be made, because we want to make sure that it's made well, made right for you, that even if you were not even going to wear it anymore because you couldn't, but you just wanted to frame it, that it would still be beautiful to have in your home to look at. I think also really wanting individuals to feel quality again. We always set out to make clothes for real people. We didn't set out to make, clothes for the, no offense, but, the models at the time who were just one size. No, we wanted to make it for the real people who are going out in their day-to-day world. And so I think for me, knowing that we could bring back that level of refinement, that level of craftsmanship, that level of quality, that level of longevity is something that is very near and dear, because then that helps me understand that we got to where we wanted to get to. In terms of, we haven't lost our why. We haven't lost ourselves in the process of the the new collections, the new praises, the new glitz and glamours, this, that, and the other. But we actually are being intentional and staying true to the DNA, the heartbeat, and the pulse of what is SESS RAY, of making clothes that really matter.
I love that. I want people to look at our flame. And I want them to know that we are lighting the torch forward for them. I want them to know that whatever, and it's going to happen.
Nope, it's not.
I want everyone to know, whether it's a child, whether it's a teenager, whether this is someone who's even in their 50s and they're like, I'm just gonna, that's it. Like, why try to live out a dream? No. SESS RAY started as a dream. That was a seed and planted in each of us. But we all had a key that would unlock the greatness of what we've created.
That's good.
And I want people to know that if it was ever going to be impossible, we probably had an impossible situation. But yet, here we are by the grace of God. And so I want people to see that our brand and to know that anything is possible. That when God gives you a promise, when he gives you a dream, that it's intended for it to be pursued. So you have a responsibility to pursue it. You have a responsibility to persevere past it. You have a responsibility to partner with someone if that's what's needed for you to be great. And so when I think about our brand, it's about legacy. It's not just about the here and now. We're not making clothes just for today. We're making clothes for 50 years from now, 100 years from now. And so that's the same way our brand is that when people see this brand, that they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to do it. That they're going to say, you know, this is it for me. This is that time to pursue that. And I believe that we, you know, that to me is one of the biggest honors you could give us, even outside of purchasing our garments, even outside of following us on social media or doing other things. It's knowing that we were able to push you forward, even if nothing else, by listening to our story.
I would say this is a dream come true.
It is.
This is a dream come true.
We live in our dream.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the song from Whitney Houston, One Moment in Time. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me.
I know.
Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. When I'm racing with destiny.
We're not going against anybody. We don't care about competitors. We don't care about that. We are in our own lane. We are in our own space. We only have to fight against the dreams of ourselves. The dreams that God is giving us. Yes, it's bigger than us. And it's funny because you do.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm like, I wasn't going to do this today. This was not the plan.
I know.
I'm like, you're the ones that are crying.
I know. You made it out. You made it out to the other side. Again, there's always one.
Always one that's going to spark it. I mean, our little girl selves would have been amazed at the women that we are today.
That's it.
You know, because I never would have dreamed that this would be our lives, let alone this is what we get to do.
Yeah, it's a
an
privilege.
It's an honor and privilege, and it's exciting. Yes, like we've had those moments where we want to give up, but yet those moments are less than the ones where we've had wonderful experiences to be like, whoa, what's next? Let's do something bigger. Let's do something grander, you know? And I think to have that level of fortitude is something also that is beautiful that we don't take for granted.
Absolutely.
So I think
That's my bestie.
So with that, we are SESS RAY.
We are SESS RAY.
And we are SESS RAY, and we're so excited that you get to be a part of our journey. And we look forward to sharing more of our stories, more of what it took to create this, but more importantly, we look forward to being able to serve you in different ways, through fashion and through inspiration and through other areas as a family.
So we hope you enjoyed this session. We would love to hear more about what you thought about this. You can follow us on all of our social media handles at SESS RAY, or you can go to www.sessray.com to learn more about our products, more about our story, more about what we're doing and what is even coming up next. And please be sure to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you and to learn more about your life and even how the SESS RAY pieces are impacting you.